Hello and welcome to another episode of Indy Scavenger newsletter here on Periodical Paradise. I want to come right out and thank the new subscribers that we've gotten. We've picked up some new people, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for hitting that there subscribe button and hitting like and share, and that's the way we're going to continue to grow this channel is through um, the publishers that we cover, telling their fans, hey, this is a review of my stuff, and those fans share it with their friends, and the word of mouth will continue to grow and grow and grow, and that's the kind of real community that we want to build with Periodical Paradise. Um, so if you support that kind of thing, keep doing what you're doing out there, and we'll keep doing what we're doing here. Um, this week I got in a couple new comics and publications from, I think it's mostly UFO members. And then, like I've mentioned in the past, the United Fanzine organization is the oldest publishers group in existence, and as far as I can tell, the only current one going out there. Um, I can't be absolutely positive of that because the communication network for small press seems to be very fragmented and lost to different Facebook spots, and it's impossible to be a part of every single one of them and know what the hell's going on. So that's why I've basically, I'm promoting on Facebook. Oh, hey, this is Periodical Paradise. Hey, come check it out. But I have a real hard time with Facebook, just the way it's set up to be compartmentalized within individual groups of people, and the right hand has no idea what the left hand is doing. Sucks. Anyway, hopefully we can make a better world through video here on YouTube, and lots more people will check it out and do all that kind of stuff. So let's dig into the comics that have come in. Actually, the first one I'm coming in with is not a comic, it is a zine. It's kind of like a history of what Alan Sissom has put out since 1986. It's a very, very interesting book if you like that kind of. Um, this was each publication that I've done and when it came out, how many copies I did, um, and why the names have changed, and what was going on in Alan's life a little bit, or his trying to what he was trying to accomplish at the time. All that information is in here in this book. It's very nicely produced. As you can see, it's got a lovely color cover and back cover, and it's very crisp, very clean. The inside is black and white and grayscale, and you can see it was printed on a really good printer. Um, the pages are all nice and even. The you can tell he's using a process where the straight line is on the bottom and the cut line is on top, which I highly recommend, Alan. If you check out my video on how to make a 20-page mini comic, that you can get that top um, cut line to be the straight one, the factory edge, and that little tiny bit of waviness that comes through on the printing won't be seen by being on top. People don't really notice it on the bottom as much as they notice it on the top. So I hope you'll check out that particular video series and see how I do it so that I don't have a cut line on top that has little tiny wavies and things that can otherwise be eliminated. But other than that, this is a pristine publication. It shows all the covers from all the way back to his earliest days in 1984, what he was doing with single page newsletters, and he shows the copies of the covers of all of those. And as you can see here, he writes about, oh, this is why and when this happened and things like that. And it's very, very interesting. I think I read on the private UFO group that he didn't really want to promote this as a publication. It's more for his own thought process, and he does go into, at the very back of it, this is where I am now, and we're caught up, and what I'm trying to do next, and all that. And he's basically told us his thought process and what he has planned coming up. So it's very, very interesting. If you're into that kind of thing, I highly, highly recommend getting a copy of Sizzo-Links, the Fanzine review. It reviews his entire history. So that is a wonderful book. I hope you'll check it out. He's got a $2 post-paid price on it, which isn't bad with postage prices these days. So definitely check this out. Get a copy. And Alan has a rich history and a number of interesting publications coming up, so check them out. That said, another publication which has come in is from Heroes Central Comics, and it's called Victoria Regina, and this is an issue number 2. I unfortunately am not privy to issue number 1 at this time. He, nowhere in this book, actually puts his name. You have to go all the way back to the UFO checklist to see, oh, that's Jason Bullock. I highly recommend that in the future, in that box there, where you've got the basic printing information, Victoria Regina, however you will pronounce it, 2018 copyright, and your how to get it information, that you put your name. Even anything like that would help. I mean, most people want to have this was by somebody, just to know, okay. Making it hard to find out who you are makes it harder for people to care how to get the next one. So you want to be promoting your work so that people will want to get your work. There is a number of publishing problems with this particular issue. I'll get into them in just a second, right after I say I really enjoy reading the actual story. I can tell I missed a pretty good chunk of the setup, so I don't know everything. It seems to be in a London in the past setting, and I appreciate the characters. They seem to have decent differences in personalities that come through in the dialogue. I'm not completely sure what's going on, and this didn't really give me too much to latch onto and say, oh, this is going to be something that's great. It made me want to see the first issue so that I can piece together a little more of why this particular issue mattered. It has something to do with getting into this tunnel getting underneath London. And other than that, I mean, it's well paced, well read. I mean, it's easy to read, not a problem. It just, it didn't grab me that much because I've seen lots and lots and lots of comics. I wish there was more in here that said, oh, this is what came before and this is what's going on now. I mean, this is an interesting image, but you can't read that. That's completely illegible as far as I can tell. I can't read it. Um, so it doesn't really do too much good as far as the space taken up. You could have replaced the block in the middle of stuff that you can't read with "this is what happened," and it would have been a little more grabbing. Other than that, the actual size of the pages seem to vary from page to page. Like on those two are pretty much the same, but if you turn the page, this one here goes all the way from the top to all the way to the bottom, and as you can see in the print, it's got a little bit of white over here and it gets cut off, so it's got that wedge effect, which you really don't want. It's a printing thing you really don't want to get within that 1/4 inch of the edge unless you're going to do full bleed, where you're going to be cutting off and having a complete edge. You don't want to get those wedges because they really scream, "Oh, I didn't take the time to do this right." It is an odd size. It's not a digest. It's not a mini comic. It's kind of mini comic width. So I'm pretty sure he took like a legal size paper and made a mini comic out of that. So it's kind of like a half digest, but the staples themselves are not centered on the fold edge. They're in the thing, so you get that kind of pull. I don't know if you can see it. You get a pull edge there, and that's not the best. You want to really try and get those staples directly into the spine if you can. He also does the cut on the top instead of on the bottom, so I'm highly advise that you go check out that How to Make a 20-Page Mini Comic series that I did that shows the orientation of your panels of art pages, how they can be done so that this cut line isn't on the top, it's on the bottom, and that hides that little tiny bit of, you can see right there, there's a little black spot. That's one of the interior pages that you can see when you look at it on the cover, and then you really can avoid that by following just a simple different orientation of your pages, so that when you cut it, it's in the middle instead of on the top. So I hope you'll check that out. Victoria, Regina, however you say that, #2, is not a bad comic as far as the content. I'd read more, so I hope I have the opportunity to do so. The actual printing is decent. The artwork is good and it's cleaned up nicely. On the inside, you don't really get a lot of pencil lines coming through or anything like that, so it's scanned very nice, or was otherwise digitally fixed so that it came out really nice. There's just a few assembly and planning errors, like your name. Really put your name somewhere in this episode by Jason Bullock that you want to put in here that would make this just that much more production value wise looking sharp, and you can easily accomplish those things. I hope you will. I hope what I'm saying isn't taken as I'm trying to attack the comic. It's taken as I want to help you see what's going on so that you can make better ones in the future. So that's that for that comic. Information down below. I do hope you'll check it out. Encourage Jason to continue to make his comics. he seems to have an interesting world that he's exploring, and I would definitely like to see it continue. So I hope I will be able to say next issue, oh, this is great. You should see the improvements he's made and all that. So, I mean, if you looked at my first issue of my first comic, I made every mistake you could possibly make, and it sucked. Um, but somehow, here I am almost 35 years later and still making comics and doing all that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out. It's worth a look for the growth and the otherwise um, talent that is in the work that went into this comic. Um, Jason deserves to be seen. So that's that. I'm going to stop there. I do have two more comics from Rob Cooley. He sent me a couple of Strange and Chaotic Worlds, which I'm going to go into next episode. Um, so therefore, as my daughter and boyfriend are hitting the road, say hi, Maddie.
Hello. I don't know if you're gonna want my food anymore.
Why?
I'm making breakfast food.
I don't know.
Way easier than making lunch. I'm making pancakes, bacon, and home fries for my project.
Okay.
So I need to know now if you want that.
Have you heard that, folks? I'm going to have pancakes, bacon, and home fries for lunch, courtesy of my daughter.
So is that fun?
Yes, Maddie, I'll definitely have some of your food, as long as you don't burn it.
Never burnt anything. Just exploded muffins.
That's right. Anyway, that was it for this episode of Indy Scavenger Newsletter. I hope you all enjoyed it, and you'll hit that there subscribe button, like button, and don't give me funny looks, Maddie. Anyway, we have a lot of fun here. I hope you had fun listening to me talk about those two comics, and you'll come back next week and you'll tell all your friends to watch what we're doing. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.